Well. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Drinks with Johnny. Today, we are joined by comedian Ari Shaffir. I got my co-host here, Sam the Hawk Hawkins. How are you guys doing today?
Sam the Hulk Hawkins? Is that what you call him?
The Hawk.
You know where it came from?
The Hulk would be better, actually.
No, I said the Holocaust.
Oh, it starts off.
It's right off the bat, with Ari. I like it.
So, listeners, here we got Ari Shaffir, one of the best names in comedy, one of the most controversial names in comedy. I think you got to embrace that, right? Or
I would say controversial names because of the contingency of Arabs trying to keep me out of the public eye. I would say it's controversial on that level. No, I don't know. Maybe controversial in all seriousness. I don't
know. In all seriousness.
I like it. I'll take it.
Controversy in comedy in all seriousness. I love it, man. Well, I'm glad to have you here, man. Right off the bat, we just had Big J Okerson on the show a couple weeks ago.
What did he tell you?
He told us that you dosed him with LSD. That's what he told us.
Well, sure. Let's call it
that. To be honest, I will give it because, look, when you Google and you research, your name, a lot of controversy comes up. And I don't know if it's to your help or not, but I'll be honest with you. I started knowing you because of that. I think you've transcended through that, but all of that is also the allure of Ari Shaffir. But Big J came to your side and says, you're an undercover mensch, is what he wants. He says he wants everyone to know. And everybody seems to kind of come to your back for all the things that happen. So there's got to be a really good side to you, man.
Yeah, it's public perception. He's just like, if Ozzy's eating the fucking heads off bats on stage, you'd be like, he really worship the devil? And you're like, no. Not really. It's for
he
show.
He just got into some good acid that night. You know?
Exactly. But the Big J dosing. Look. Everybody loves a good dosing, but as they were trying to dose me, I just subverted it over to Jay.
That's right.
I used him in that.
But Jay said that he wasn't involved in it. It was everyone else that was.
He was in the end, wasn't he?
Brilliant. But that's not the only time you dose somebody, though.
No, it's been a few times. But I'm actually really good at dosing. I've just had a couple like overboards, but really everybody had a good time. I'll stand by it. No one really had a bad time on it. Just you got to share it with your girlfriend or wife afterwards. They get pissed.
Yeah, I
you ever been dosed?
It was Bert's family that got pretty upset with you on that one.
Yeah,
right?
I have it, but I have that weird thing where like I haven't done very many drugs. You and Johnny can probably definitely talk about drugs, but I was thinking about it when I heard all that. I was like, well, would I kind of want that because I wouldn't do it on my own so I could experience it because in my head. But then I'm like, no, because the safe zone, right? What if it goes wrong and you're like in the middle of a bunch of people and you're seeing it? So it is a back and forth.
I mean, it depends. I was at a festival in Georgia, middle of nowhere. And these guys, I'd never seen people test drugs before, but they were buying Coke. And then we were supposed to go to Bonnaroo, got rained out that year. And so a bunch of us went to this, like, I call it a meth and country festival. It was just like hard rock, kind of like you guys, that genre, and like country. It was a weird festival, but it was cool as shit. But okay, curse on this. But anyway, someone's like, hey, they're buying Coke. Like, let's test it first, which I had just assumed meant let's see how good it is.
Right. You would think.
Yeah. Like, let me go test a bit. And then, but they were like, no, strips. Let's be safe. I was like, oh, okay. So they got out of their RV. They're like, that was 100% cocaine. It's pure. You guys can buy it.
Fentanyl.
No fentanyl. Okay, awesome. Then they were testing some acid for some lady's bus. And they go, that is 100% mescaline, not acid. Also, it was just dip. This guy got it in his hand and he was like, fuck. He goes, it's for sure soaked through my hand.
Oh.
Yeah. And we were like, are you okay? We were like worried about him. But then he was like, oh, guys, it wasn't the trip I was planning, but like, I've done drugs before. It's just unexpected,
yeah. At the end of the day, it's mescaline trip, LSD trip. I mean, come on, we're still gonna have a good time.
Similar family, exactly.
That fentanyl is fucked though, dude. It's like we got a cop friend down in Oceanside, California, and he just talks about like it's just rampant, dude. And you never know what's going on, and all the horror stories and shit. So
the Europeans look down like they're just like, you guys got to deal with that. It used to be you only OD'd if you went too hard.
Right.
Yeah.
No, you don't even have to go hard at all now. That's for me. It's a little scary on that. I don't I don't fuck with cocaine anymore for that reason. I mean, like that's literally like I just like no, it's not worth it. Don't get me wrong, I've had plenty of great times, you know, on cocaine and having a good time partying and everything.
It's just too much of a risk. It really is like no fun anymore. And everybody goes like, well, we'll test it. We'll test it. Like that's when you buy it from a dealer at home. Like if somebody's like, let's go to the bathroom in a bar, no one's testing that.
No one's doing that anymore. I hope the listeners and people at home know better just to do that now.
It's still happening, but it's a risk now.
Fucking A, man. Like,
dude,
it's just too much.
Our buddy who's a cop said that there was a dispensary and they're like funded by cartel, right? Because of all the money, you know, you can't always go to banks. And that some of the cartels like, yeah, man, I'll give you some money, but you got to get my product in. But what they're doing is lacing a little bit of fentanyl in it because you got to have the superior product. So people aren't even realizing, and they're getting some product in. I don't know.
That's another fucked up thing. If that's true, I heard the same thing from our friend. If that's true, that's fucked up. Now you're fucking with my weed in a legal dispensary. Like, that's fucked up.
Putting fentanyl in weed? Can you smoke fentanyl?
I don't know. I don't even know. I don't think it works that way. I don't know.
Well, it's kind of like your safe space. You go to a dispensary and you think like, oh, this is my safe space to buy shit. You know,
right?
That was always like I was like, yeah, I don't take drugs especially with press stuff and powder. It's like I don't know what's in this. Always, you know, before the fentanyl was like could be a different drug, but with weed is always like nobody laces weed. Somebody gives you a joint, it's a joint.
Right.
Now you're saying no. What if I just killed myself right now?
Be a hell of a podcast, Ari.
Like, well, we got a clip.
This one's going viral. Oh man!
So we watched your
doctors like break the news to the HIV patients now with saying you're about to go viral.
Oh.
All right.
It's not as bad as Axl Rose wearing the shirt that what was it? AIDS kills fags or whatever back in the day. He had a shirt that he wore on stage.
Wow.
It did not age well. It was like AIDS kills fags dead or something like that, like a raid commercial.
Damn.
Not cool.
Your buddy Jay was talking the other day. I had no idea about Pantera, Phil going off about some stuff too about I don't know if we want to go into this.
It's so funny. We don't have to say specifically. It's just so funny when non-political people suddenly get political, right? and all dumb fucks either way, either side. You're like, you're not an expert. Shut up. Go back to your music or your dumb jokes or whatever.
Well, do you think that kind of is your issue with this? Is you do the jokes outside of the stage so it resonates a little bit more? I was thinking about that the other day.
Yeah. And also, like, even with stand-up, I've heard this. It's like it's a kind of a new art form in the grand scheme of things. It's like Lenny Bruce. You figure like one of the 60s. You know, music's been around. Visual art's been around, so everyone knows like, hey, that's not a naked lady if you're painting a naked lady.
Yeah.
But with us, there's the people who get it. You guys get it, but some people are like, what the? He said this. They're like, well, yeah, he means the opposite. And well, then why did you say that?
It's called a fucking joke.
Yeah. Like, you don't know how to explain it to people. It's like they're using their real name. And it's like, well, I actually do believe these things, but I'm saying a joke version of it, whatever it is. But yeah,
I feel like you can kind of tell who's real or not by if they can come back from it or not. If people are in their corner in the long run and they can come back from it, then they got, or I don't know, maybe they got.
It's possible. It's just like some people just like buckle to adversity. Other people like, just like, what am I going to do? We'll keep going.
Yeah, I like that approach. I like the latter there.
Yeah, didn't Jordan get cut from his junior year basketball team, high school?
Yeah, he did.
Definitely sophomore, and it was like he could have been like, "Fuck this sport." I mean, easily,
Yeah, he could have been an even greater golfer. You never know.
Could have been the golfer. What could have been? You're right.
It wasn't baseball, so.
I mean, if he quit basketball, he's not getting in North Carolina.
That's true. That's true.
It's cool.
I just lost my mic here.
Hey, can we transition to your special? I know it's a hard thing, but I got to tell you, man.
Yeah.
I don't know that much about the whole Jewish religion. Yeah. I found your special both super informative. I hope a lot of it's true.
Yeah.
But with a funny way. So a goy like me learns a lot while laughing the entire time. I was blown away and super entertained the whole time. So
hell yeah. I love it. Yeah, I will want the education to be kind of incidental. Like you're laughing the whole time, and then you're like, oh, also, I guess I learned a little something.
Was that the plan when you structured the thing?
Yeah, I'd have to like go on. I do like in little sections, you know, in like LA or New York comedy, just it's like 6 guys on a lineup, everybody doing 15. So I'm like, all these bits have to work after like a great comic like Big J.
Yeah.
You know, they're not here to see me, and I just gotta like make it work. So I gotta like hold my own with the funny.
I think you did a great job with that stand up, man. I'll full disclosure, I just finished it. Like Sam sent it over. I knew a little bit about you from, as we already said, the controversy and stuff, some of the big Kobe thing. I got my Lakers mug out for that.
Fuck the Lakers. Fuck the
Lakers. Who's your team?
What?
Who's your team?
My number 1, I root for against the Lakers, and then number 2, I root for the Pelicans.
Oh, come on! Oh,
what?
Come on! That's throwing pebbles at a boulder, man. Like, have fun with that.
Doesn't really it's like I got nothing to stand on. It's not like I could say we're better. You know, Celtics, you got a chance, but
they play at the Smoothie King Arena, bro.
You ever see King Baby? It's the freakiest thing. It's just like overgrown baby with a crown on it. It's all over New Orleans.
What is that?
King Baby. You got to look it up. It's in their King Baby cakes and stuff. You find this little doll. It's just like a giant baby.
What is the significance? Why?
I don't know. I think it's from like one of their version of a tasty cake or something. I really don't know, but that's like the unofficial mascot of New Orleans.
That's so bizarre. I've been in New Orleans. I've never noticed that.
Yeah, you've noticed. You're just like, oh, weird. It's just like, what's your?
I probably just didn't think anything of it.
In with everything else there. Yeah.
Oh, did you grow up in that area or something?
No, but I grew up in North Carolina, so I was a Charlotte Hornet fan for a while. Then they moved to New Orleans, so I just kind of moved with them.
Yeah,
and then started.
And then they came back when they came back, and
too late. I'm already in this team.
So you were what's his name? CP3.
Oh, love. Yeah,
those are good teams. I mean, they did some deep playoff runs.
Got some fun teams, yeah, for sure. We like almost got there. Him and Eldon Campbell, like the pick and roll loves. It was great, but never got past like the second round ever. It was tough.
Well, CP3 hasn't had a good run on getting past the second rounds.
No, you can root for him because everybody loves him, but this will be his last chance now.
Oh yeah, now at Golden State, like that was an interesting signing to me, because like you got Steph Curry's obviously going to be the starting point guard, so he's coming off the bench. He's
going to lead that B squad.
Yeah,
I don't know. They know what they're doing. I'm sure they got Steph's like okay on it.
Oh, for sure. You don't do anything. You don't do anything in Golden State without Steph's approval at this point.
Yeah, and like so funny hearing Draymond Green talk about it. He goes, "Oh yeah, I don't like that guy, but he's a teammate now, so we'll figure it out."
Draymond's a G, dude. I love hearing Draymond talk because he's just no nonsense about it. Like for a while, I disliked him at the beginning. But then I realized I was like, no, that guy's got something cooking inside that skull.
Mm-hmm. You got to look up as a bunch of like players. Him, wasn't Paul Pierce, but someone like that. Maybe Durant. I don't know. Some like great workhorse and like Lisa Leslie or some like WNBA player. And they were talking about basketball and the state of basketball. And then she was like, yeah, and we, maybe you guys give up some of your money for us. And then Draymond goes, whoa, hold the fuck on. What are you talking about? He's like, we go support you guys. We go to your games to try to like convince people that your sucky fucking product is okay. And then he doesn't say it like that, but he's
I don't think he quite said it that way.
Hey, you make some money, but sell more than 20 tickets. I don't know what to tell you.
It's getting bigger though. This season, I've seen a lot more about it. I still haven't watched too much, but I have seen like there's been some records broke, and they're talking about it more on like SportsCenter.
What?
Yeah, like there was the first girl to score like 40,000 points or something like that just happened.
Meh.
This has been basketball talk on Drinks with Johnny. Ari just said, man, so we're moving on.
I don't know what to tell you, dude. It's like they stayed in high school for 10 years. Of course, they're going to break some records.
Yeah. So you played basketball. You mentioned that in your stand-up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I played in a Jewish school. I was pretty good. It was like a 6-man, but I'd say at 6'3", I was a center.
Yeah.
Have you ever played against Rick Glassman?
I have. He's pretty good.
Dude, well, he'll tell you.
Comedians Basketball League, and he played.
He played
There's
LeBron
a
James
basketball league. Wait a minute. I didn't even know that this was a thing. There's a comedians basketball league.
There was in LA. You have to be a comic, and fucking cheap ass Rick Glassman. Honestly, I won't say kick this out, but if he killed himself, I'd be happy. The rule is you got to be a comic to. And he would find some random ringer, and he would take him to one open mic, and then say, "Oh, he's a comedian now." Like fucking, these Jews, dude. They just cheat the system however they can.
That was the educational part that we were talking about on your stand-up part of that education. I like how you just went right into the stereotypes. You're like, yeah, a lot of them are true, but let me give you the backstory on why it's true.
Yeah, exactly. I got a story to share with you guys, but
let's go,
please.
So listen, I'm a fan of who I'm a fan of musically. I certain genres. Yeah, I'm way into chick rock of the '90s, just '90s music in general. I loved. So I got into music. If it's too hard, it's not exactly my vibe. So you guys never really came into my world,
Gotcha.
But it's just not good or bad. It's just not my genre.
Right.
But Big J loves that type of music. He also loves yacht rock, but he loves that type of music. So your name is so perfect for making fun of the people who like that kind of music. Especially with the fucking 7 as the S. It's just wheelhouse of how I'm going to mock this guy. And so for years, I'm like, well, Jay's favorite band is Avenged Sevenfold. And he would have to go, it's not my favorite band. I do like them a lot, though. And so I just keep hitting it. So then one day he had a birthday party, a birthday episode of Legion of Skanks. This was, 8 years ago or so. And I was like, for a birthday present, I'm going to get him a signed, autographed, a copy of the brand new Avenged Sevenfold release. And it was my version of it. So what I did was I took a dump on a sock in a box. And I said, to me, this is this music. Again, no offense, I didn't know the music. I never listened to the song, but I just know this about the Big J. I got
so good.
A tackle store, find a waterproof, i.e. smell-proof box, cover it inside and out with wrapping paper so he couldn't see through it. I took a nice, hot, wet dump on a sock.
Why a sock of all things?
I don't know, man.
I like that you're focused on that, Sam.
And then I just carried it around for an afternoon, like while I was doing spots, headed over to Legion of Skanks, took it on the subway. He was praying that I got robbed. Then I was sat there for 2 hours of this podcast with Big J's present. And at the end, he's like, so, Ari, what'd you get me? And I was like, well, dude, I know you love Avenged Sevenfold. I got you an autographed copy of their brand new album. And he was like, oh, okay. And he opens it up. And the smell of a 9-hour shit filled the room. People scattered. Michael Che was in the other room. He left the other room. He could smell. And Jay's like, what the fuck is this? I'm like, I believe it's the new Avenged Sevenfold album.
It was. That's how bad that album was. I don't even know which one you're talking about, but that's definitely how bad we put it together.
Oh my God, I love it.
I'm like, I don't know, Jude. I think it really is the new album. And he's like, I'm pretty sure it's not. You guys got to look that up.
It's on. Oh, we will. Believe me, we'll find it.
If that clip out is up on YouTube, I'm definitely checking that out.
Yeah.
I'll just check out the whole episode, actually. I want to know what led to that. What led to that? Other than the fact that you just being Ari, obviously, just like
it's just like a long history of that.
I love that you have like the prank mentality though too. Like I fancy myself a prankster. I haven't pulled quite the ones you have, but I fancy myself a little bit of a prankster.
They're fun when they pay off.
They pay off, it's so good. It's my favorite thing.
Johnny's like the one not nearly to your level, but you guys are scary as fuck because you can't prank you guys because you guys will take it one step further. And that's the scariest thing about a friend who like is a good pranker or You know what I mean?
just won't give up. That I don't know about for you, Ari. I need that payoff. To your point, I need that payoff, and I'm going to get it. You're not going to get it. I'm going to get the payoff.
And then if they want up you back, like, sweet, we can just keep going up. One of us is going to quit, and it won't be you, and it won't be. Nuclear holocaust is the next step. I'm just going to stop here. Let I wronged me in some light way at the Comedy Store. I think. Well, I guess it's prank on prank. We this Bobby Lee peed on this guy's car, this other comedian's car, and he was trying to get this guy to give him a hug. The guy was homophobic. He was like, "I'm not giving you a hug." And Bobby dropped his pants. He said, "Come on, give me a hug." I was like, "I wasn't gonna give you a hug when your dick wasn't out. Like, I'm definitely not giving you a hug." He was chasing him down Sunset Boulevard. Wouldn't give him a hug. Then he went over to this guy James's car and he goes, "James, give me a hug, or I'm gonna piss on your car." James like, "Please don't do that." He just pissed all over the hood. He was livid. He was so mad. So Bobby saw I went too far. So he took him out to took us all out to Jerry's Deli. I don't know if it's still open, but and we were poor, so it went a long way. We got a nice big pastrami sandwich and some French fries. So he's like, "All right, we're forgiven." So afterwards, Bobby runs out to this guy's car, pisses on it again, goes, "Ha ha," and then jumps in his car and goes off. And this guy James is fucking shaking with rage. And I was like, "You mad?" He was so mad. And I'm like, "What are you gonna do?" He's like, "I'm gonna shit on his car." And okay, fair enough. So I don't know.
One level up.
A week later, Bobby's off at some bar or some club, a comedy club down the street, with another friend. He left his car in the parking lot of the Comedy Store. I'm like, "Look whose car is left in the parking lot." And he's like, "Oh." I'm like, "You said you were going to shit on his car." I'm egging him on. He's like, "You said you were going to shit on his car." And he goes, "But I just took a shit like an hour ago." I'm like, "I'll do it for you." So I took a shit in a bag, in a pink dot bag, gave it to him. And I was like, "By all means." And he took the top of a box, like one of those like paper boxes, that all the paper comes in, used it as a spackle, just covered the inside of Bobby Lee's door handles, packed shit into the fucking windshield wipers, turned the windshield wipers on, no motor, packed it in, and we all went home. And Bobby comes back at like 3 a.m. with his friend. The friend's the first one, touched the driver's side. But you got the passenger side door too, in case he brought a girl home with him.
That's some good methodical shit right there.
Right?
I like it.
We went deep. There was a lot of shit too. There was, the guy, Aaron Caters, is this Palestinian guy. Sorry. But got it first, goes, "Ew." Bobby goes, "Ew, what?" Tries his door handle. Shit all over his hands. No, nothing's open. So there's nowhere to go. So you try to wipe it off in cement. That's not doing it. No. Human tries to walk down Sunset, going business to business, because he went to the Standard. "Can I wash my hands?" They're like, "No." They're like, "Get the fuck out of here." They had to walk all the way down to
3 o'clock in the morning. You're just coming back from a club with shit all over your hands.
Gas station along Laurel Canyon, like a while down there. Finally got a hose, wiped it off. Was so mad. Paid a homeless guy $20 to like clean out the car handle with a stick. And then he called me. I got the message like in the next morning. He goes, "Ari, I know this was you. I'm so mad at you. I'll deal with this tomorrow. I know you had something to do with this." And right as he's leaving the message, he turns the car on. The windshield wipers are already set to on. Starts spreading shit all over his fucking. It was glorious.
That is so fucking good.
It was glorious. And to hear it pay off, to be there for it, even though I wasn't there, is like the Lord bless you sometimes.
Because all you can do is you just picture what is going through Bobby's head when he fucking turns it on and just sees after everything, after he's already cleaned it up.
After everything, there's not enough windshield wiper fluid to clean off packed shit all over. Screaming, he just loses it. Anyway, so Duncan Trussell, at the time, this great comedian, is a talent coordinator at the Comedy Store. We just made up that the owner found out about it and is mad about it and wants to know about it. We just made that up. She never found out. No one's going to tell on anybody. So James writes this long letter saying, "I convinced him to do it. I'm the one who put it in his door, which was wrong." He just tells on me right and left. And I was like, okay. So I was like, "Hey, print up that email." And I held it for about a year. And then we went down to San Diego. There's a Comedy Store in La Jolla. We go down there. I had that thing with me for legitimately 11 months or more. And we all did spots on Tuesday, and then we did spots on Wednesday, and then you drive back. But Wednesday, I made sure that James is on last of all of us. He goes on. I tell the other guy, Rick Ingram's like, hey, I'm leaving. You can either come with me, you can stay here. He's like, what do you mean? We're poor comics at the time. And I'm like, I'm leaving. He goes, can you explain? I'm like, I can explain in the car. Get in the car. He's on stage for 8 minutes, comes off. I give the door guy that note with the word rat on the outside. I said, hand this to Jim when he gets off stage. And he was like, this, opens it up, reads his letter from a year ago that he didn't know I even saw. And he goes, fuck, where's Ari? I'm like, I think he left. He's like, what do you mean he left? We live in LA. What do you mean he left? And he's like, he's gone. And yeah, I just left him in San Diego.
Yeah, you guys were driving together, so you were his ride.
There, he had no way back. He figured out a train the next day, how to get back. Like I don't know how to take the train from San Diego. There was one. At that point, he just stopped fighting back.
He's like, all right, wait, white flag comes up. I'm fucking done.
Further, I want to get back at you, but I don't want to do this. Yeah. It was
it's interesting to hear the Bobby part because I only heard online. It's what we were talking about earlier. You don't hear the full story from your side, which is I'm glad that you're here to tell these because I just heard that Ari did this to me, but I had no idea that there was another dude involved that did the dirty work of it.
All I did was poop in a bag. You do whatever you want. Yeah, it's like Oxy, man. Listen, I'm prescribing it. If people want to abuse it, that's on them. That's what they
I love that approach, dude. Is because it's also like you're playing the chess match with and you just have all your pawns out there for your pranks, which is fucking brilliant.
Yeah, in the middle of a war, someone's about to surrender. I'm like, hey, I got extra bullets if you want.
Fucking love it, dude. I've done the shit car thing before, but to randoms. So like when I was a kid in middle school, we would shit in a bag and like go around in the middle of the night and try and find cars that had their windows cracked a little bit or something like that. And we'd shove it through. So they're waking up for like the morning. I don't think anyone's listening to it that had this happen to them, but they'd probably wake up in the morning, go start up their car, and they're sitting next to a bag of shit. And they're
oh, it's great. Because you see that payoff so bad, you just can't. You just trust.
We just trust it. Well, one of the other pranks that I learned when I was a kid, and I took Sam out to do when we were 20 years old, was taping the street. Have you ever taped the street?
What, like, hold on, let me see. Is just Scotch tape across the road?
Duct tape.
Across the road?
Across the road in the night. So when someone drives over it, it catches. So you have it sticky side up. It catches and starts banging around underneath the car, so they think something happened to their car. And then they go underneath, and they have to start trying to pull out this tangled up duct tape.
Because it gets around the wheel?
Yeah.
Pretty good one.
Shitty about that is we did that as a kid, or we were young, and I live on the street we did it now, and if some fucking kid did that on my street, I would be so fucking pissed.
Bad. I love to when you get caught on a prank and you're so livid, angry. You're like, I want to fuck it. And then like 2 days later, you're like, all right, it's pretty funny.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I used to love. I mean, it goes back to like our young days of like ding dong ditching and stuff. You always got the one neighbor that got fucking irate about it, and because they got so mad about it, that's the one you targeted every time.
It's so funny too. If they just go, all right, you got me. Don't do that anymore. But you got me. Then it's all fun. If you just refuse to, if like a year goes by, 2 years go by, and you're still mad about it, well, then you're Bert Kreischer.
I should not have been sipping my beer at that time, dude. I almost fucking lost it. Well, he said that you guys like still like talk and text, and you guys are still friends.
We're fine, but when I call, I think he reset my contact in his phone book because he told his family how wrong it was in that moment. Now he has to stick to it, so I think he reset my contact as his agent. So he's like, "Oh, my agent's calling me. I got to go outside to take this." And he's like, "What's up, Ari? How you doing?"
That's brilliant because he's openly said on a few different podcasts when the topic has been brought up of you dosing him with Molly. He said that like his daughter Georgia doesn't. That like who used to love you apparently is like, do you talk to the girls at all anymore, or you're not allowed to
anymore? But dude, it's so fun. You guys have been on Molly before, right? Assuming.
Yeah, I have not. Yes.
I mean, it's ecstasy was the most apt name of any drug. Mm-hmm. Just feel great, see the love and everything. So me and him flying. By the way, wonderful time. It was only the aftermath that was the issue. But just a great 5 hours with your buddy on Molly in his backyard. It was awesome. And we're feeling this love. And I was like, dude, his youngest kid, she's cool. She's like, we had a fun thing a few times where I'm like, I put deodorant all over myself and Bert's making fun of me. And then that youngest kid is like, oh, I do it like that. That's the right way to go. Make sure you're covered. I'm like, this one gets it, man. She's so cool. And I'm full of love.
I got to stop you there. Thank you. My wife gives me shit. She goes, are you just going? I'm like, it's coverage, girl. Like,
wait. If we're going to go into this, I need to know, what are you guys talking about? Like how?
Like, you just make sure anything on the crease or in is covered.
My wife just does like one, like, deet, and leaves. And I'm like, let's get the whole outside. Let's get it all. Seems simple,
I count to 7. I have like the OCD.
Oh.
I do 7 strokes.
That's great. What she said.
Yeah.
It's not a podcast without a good, that's what she said.
It's fucking Lakers. Fucking goddamn.
I love that. I was so funny because after doing the research on you and like discovering you a little bit, I look over as we're about to go, and I'm like, I'm gonna have a beer on this one. There's no way I'm not having a beer on this one. And I reach into my cupboard to grab one of my normal pint glasses, and I went right by the Lakers one, this giant Lakers mug, and I was like, nah, that's the one today.
Grotesque.
So I had to text Sam. Okay, real quick. So we're talking about the Lakers.
Yeah.
And we'll get back to the other story here in a second. But we're talking about the Lakers, and obviously you got in some heat over your controversial joke, I'll call it, about right after Kobe Bryant had passed away.
During.
I just heard that's what it was. I heard everyone talking about like, oh, with the Kobe thing. Everybody, all your peers saying the Kobe thing. And I was like, I texted Sam, I'm like, what the fuck is the Kobe thing? And
I literally had to look it up because I couldn't remember
a little bit.
Because I was like, and it's hard to find what you said, but everyone's reaction to it.
It's so funny. So whenever I see, like, I don't know if you guys noticed this, like, started on maybe the MySpace days or Facebook days when you would see a post first going, 10 years ago today, my father passed away. There's never a day goes by I don't think about him. And it's like, why is this a public? Or you go, not a day goes by I don't think about you. And it's like, what is this doing on your timeline? He's gone.
It's asking for people to give sympathy, I feel like.
And then it went to like my beautiful wife. I love you every day. I'm like, again, why is this a post? This should be a DM.
Oh, on that. Oh.
And then, when the celebrities start dying, everyone tried to make it about themselves. Like, I'm so heartbroken about this. This is so whatever. And it's just funny when everyone's like, in a moment, you ever have like a guy in your friend group that everybody just likes, just a universally loved guy. Joey Diaz is in our group. Like, no one doesn't like Joey Diaz. So you have 6 guys like, dude, Joey Diaz is the best. And then somebody else like, oh my God, dude, one time he fucking helped me out when I was in a bind. This other guy's like, he just rules. And the other guy's like, he's so funny. Because to you, the funniest thing is to go, fuck him.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Got a place. It's funny. So I see everybody like bemoaning all these celebrities who die. And it's like, part of me is torn on one. It was like, you respect non-celebrities' lives at all? Are they like better than us? I don't think so. I mean, you guys, I'm sure you get treated like celebrities, but you're also just regular humans. Right. Sure you don't love the, deify.
No, it's not what you set out to do when you're. I mean, the same way the comedy, I think too. Entertainment in general, it's not what you set out to do with it. It's just it happened along the way.
Yeah, exactly. And you're just a normal guy. You've eaten crumbs off your chest before. It's not this.
Do I have crumbs on my chest right now? Tell me
shitting in cars like normal people. You know what I mean?
Shitting in cars.
So I would just start writing like shitty stuff about these dead celebrities, and it was funny. And people like, and then Kobe died, and it was his best one because I've been shitting on the Lakers for 20 years. So he dies, and I'm like, fuck him. He should have died the day before he got drafted. Good on the fucking chopper for not gassing up the whatever, whatever. You just say something shitty and people get mad. They hate you bringing up the rape. So it's just like, you just do, and people got so worked up. So I was like, job well done. You're the group of people who follow you are like, we all get it. But then the other people hear about it and they go, what? And you're like, oh, you don't know the back. I've been doing this for years.
Well, I think that's a really good point too. Like with the whole cancel culture and everything that I feel like the pendulum is starting to swing back a little bit now. I'm seeing it start to swing back a little bit, which I'm happy for. Because to your point, like it's all the clickbait stuff. If just like I didn't know, like I didn't know the backstory to it, and I was just like, I was texting Sam. I'm like, I'm a huge Lakers fan. Kobe Bryant was like my guy. I watched every game that guy played. So I'm a huge fan. I was like, what the fuck did this guy say about my boy? In a lot of ways.
It's also a little trolling. It's just like you just say something that'll get people mad. Like I would say the best trolls are like if you're at a horse convention, you just come in and say cars are the way. And if you're at a car convention, you'll be like horses are the way. And then it's just like you don't care. No. I mean, I hate the Lakers, but I hate them sports wise. I don't really.
Of course. Well, that's part of it though. That's part of being a sports fan. You gotta have the ones you love and the ones that you hate. Otherwise, what the hell are you in for it?
See, I hate it. But like if you met him, like, hey, how you doing? You actually hate them. It's wrestling. It's play pretend. And I'm like,
you shit on Avenged Sevenfold, but he knows he's a human and they're nice people, Yeah,
I'm not legitimately angry. And if like somebody played your music for someone who listens to like, I don't know, like some mellow, James Taylor, they'd be like, this is just noise. I'm like, guy, you're not supposed to be here. So here, we're all having a good time. It's the wrong people find out. It's you lose context, you lose comedy.
Have you been that way ever since you were younger too, of pushing stuff, or did that come out with confidence as you got older?
I don't know. It's a good question. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I always try to make laughs and stuff, but just to like needle people was always a fun. I don't know. It's just
Did
funny.
you do that? So did you do that? I guess more specifically, were you pranking other members in your family when you were growing up?
Oh yeah, me and my brother were always like the funny ones. We'd always like fuck with each other. So
how old are you in age?
What?
How far are you?
Oh, 2 years apart. But like, I don't know if you guys play backgammon ever.
Mm-hmm. I've never played backgammon. I'm aware of the game, but I've never played it.
An opening move. If you roll a 6-5, there's one move to make. You take a guy who's deep in prison and you take him all the way to safety. It's the only move to make. There's no question about it. And so if somebody rolls an opening 6-5 on your opponent, what we would do is I command you to move that piece over there. You'll do it because I say. And you're like, fuck you. And you just try to fuck with them a little bit on the way to like, they're going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's fun. I don't know. It's just fun. You get somebody's phone. They want to show you look what this guy like posted. And you're like, oh my God, what? And you just get it and quickly like find someone from their phone and just like write something to them.
That's what Jay said too. Jay also said that you're not the guy to like, you have to know it, but don't give Ari your phone.
Unless you say do not do something, you will listen to people.
You got to have honor about it.
Yeah. There is honor in prank. I do like that you brought that up because there's absolutely honor. Some pranks are just stupid and you're like, all right, really? Like whatever. But like if someone's taken the time to think about it and do something that has that payoff, you got to respect it.
You got to respect it. But also if somebody catches you, you got to stop.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody's like holding they waited in line for pizza and they got it, and as soon as they get it, you just slap it out of their hand on the ground, and it's like, oh, come on, man. But if you try it and they move and you don't get it, you got to stop. You made now you're just a bully.
Yeah.
If you, or if you do the thing, there's something on your shirt. If you don't look down, you can't do the thing, or if they hand like, hey, look at this, but like, hey, no, can't fuck around. I'm like, okay, I agree.
Yeah.
But time, that's not forever. That's just this time.
You better remind me every time.
Jay's daughter's like me. One time she texted me. We all say like she's probably my daughter, but we just don't know it. But like she texted me out of the blue. It's like, hey Ari, I found a site that sells and ships elephant poop to any address you enter. Just thought you'd want to know. And it's like, yeah, of course I'd want to know. Good job, buddy. Yeah. And it's
wait. Sidebar. You got to let me know what that website is because oh man, my bandmates are going to love me for this one.
You know what you can also do is you can get a free 3-pack of adult diapers sent anywhere. They're willing to give that out. And I had a guy who used to run a burrito stand in La Jolla. And every gig I had, they'd just be like, there's a package for you. I'm like, oh, what? Okay. And you'd open up like, what the fuck is this? Diapers? Wouldn't say. Another gig, a month later. I'm like, what the fuck? Who keeps sending me diapers? and just waiting for it. And then I found out it was him. It was fucking yeah.
So anyway, so it was. So you found out about the site.
Yeah, it's not the site. I'm just saying who she is. So Big goes outside with his chick to go smoke cigarettes. Leaves his computer out around me. So I'm like, I take his computer. I go to his daughter. I'm like, saying her name. I'm like, hey, you didn't see anything? She goes, of course I didn't see anything. I know what time it is. I just wrote a letter to all of Big J's employees from his show, The Bonfire, on Sirius. Jacob, all his higher ups, and they were on Comedy Central Radio at the time. She goes, Jacob, we're fucked. If Comedy Central calls you, do not take the call. It might be the end of the show. I'm trying to work it out. I don't know. But no matter what, whoever calls, do not take the call. No comment, no matter what. And we'll see by tomorrow if it's fucking over or not. I can't get into it right now. Send, shut. And then he finishes a cigarette, comes in, none the wiser. Me and Isabella just hanging out there. And eventually he gets a call from that guy, Jacob. And he's like, what the fuck, dude? What's going on? Are we done? And he's like, no, what? Calm down. What are you talking about? He goes, you said we're done? What's going on with Comedy Central? He goes, I don't know. What do you mean? What's going on? And now he's convinced. Is something going on with Comedy Central? We fucked? And he goes, no, you sent that email. And he goes, what email? And he just looks at me. He goes, dude, don't worry about any of that. Ari's here. For sure. And he's like, is it? Or his daughter's name is like, did you see him say that? He goes, Dad, what do you want me to do? I have honor.
Are there people that are off?
She gets
limits?
it. She's one of the real ones. I love it.
Like Joe Rogan. Is Joe Rogan off limits for your pranking?
No, it's just like, you know who's going to get it, not generally, but you gotta hit the line. So after Jay told Rogan about, no, I could fuck with Joe sometimes. Like he fell asleep once we were on a plane together. He fell asleep on the plane next to me, or like this, like mouth open.
Oh God! Don't fall asleep next to white people.
Yeah, took a picture right before we took off. It was pre internet on the planes. Took a picture, posted on Twitter. I was like, hey, Photoshop away. We'll be on a flight. 4 hours. He's swallowing. None the wiser again until we land. Turns on his phone and he was like, "Wait, what the? Oh, come on, man!" It's humor, you know. I couldn't fuck with his car. I could do that to him.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant though. That is the line though. Like you found the line to fuck with Joe on that one. Like it's like all I did was take a picture and I gave it to. It's once again all I did was shit in a bag and then I gave it to him.
Yeah, exactly. Now, some guys will be like, that's not cool, dude. That my dad's going to see that, you know? And you're like, all right. But if
your dad doesn't have a sense of humor, that would be my response.
Exactly. So Jay went on Rogan, like, I don't know, a month after I got him that gift or that signed autographed CD.
Yeah.
And he was telling Rogan about it. And Rogan just goes like, dude, we say a lot that this guy's a savage, that guy's a savage, but Ari is a savage. Like he's out of society.
I love it. I think well, actually on that question, have you ever actually listened to any Avenged Sevenfolds like after that?
It's just not my genre.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. That metal country festival. I'm like, these were cool bands. Just not, I don't know, just not my thing. I'm not into rap either.
What do you, so let's talk about what you are into. What are your bands that you grew up with that you love?
I'm Arcade Fire, not so much now, but I just went to Strokes yesterday. God damn it. The percentages of great song to awful banner, it's crazy how fucking nothing he is on stage. It's just like meanders and meanders and meanders, and you're like, get to a song. It was funny. They sounded great. And then somebody's like, you guys gotta stop me from talking. We're like, yes, stop talking.
Oh, that's gotta be like every frontman's like, I'm not a frontman, but that's gotta be like every frontman's like worst nightmare.
God damn, it's like, shut him up. Shut him the fuck up. Just saw the Pixies. They were great. There's some new bands, the Heavy. New band, I think, from England. Saw them. It's great in New York. You see these tiny bands in these small places. And when they're like, there's between like someone who's like trying versus someone who's like, oh, you're gifted. You're not a 200-seater very long. You can just tell. You know, I played I got to go in a second. Let this guy in. But I played the Crocodile in Seattle. They said that Nirvana used to play there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, what were they like? He goes, the sound guy's been here since fucking '84. He worked them, and I was like, whoa. And I asked him, I was like, were they like? He's like, yeah, it was great. He's like, did you know they were going to be like big? He goes, yeah, they destroyed, and like then you could just tell they just knew what they were.
Coincidence of that. I was at Kurt Cobain's house, so I was in Seattle for work while I was listening to your shit. Like I went to go drove by, and yeah, it was just kind of a weird coincidence.
Oh, yeah. Wait, I gotta let this guy in who's got a couch for me. Can I?
It's the best exit ever.
I don't even know. The guy's got a couch for me.
Okay, I'll come let you in.
Yeah, please show us this couch that's what comes in. Go ahead, man. We'll cut for a second. I need to refill my beer anyway. Did you just move?
Did
a
you
couch?
lift it up right now?
Is that why you're breathing heavy?
What's up, buddy? Come on up. Come on up here, buddy. I'm telling him in a meeting. It's sort of true.
You need to go, man.
I'm doing it. Supposed to bring it in.
Are they replacing that couch right behind you?
No, it's for this other room. I converted it from a spare bedroom to like an office studio.
Nice. And you're in New York, right?
No space in this fucking town.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, are you in Manhattan?
Yeah. Yeah.
Business must be good, man. You got multiple rooms in Manhattan?
It's hard to come by. Yeah. And also, like, they're all fake rooms. They're like, if I left, they would just convert this into a 3-bedroom with like a fake little wall for a bunch of college kids. It sucks. Like I do pretty well, and you see some fucking dumb 24-year-old living the same life I have. And you're like, I do well. How are you able to afford this now?
That was always the question. Like, I don't know if you're a Friends fan, but I'm a huge Friends fan. I was like, how the fuck are like they're in and out of jobs this whole fucking storyline, and they're living in Manhattan?
They said the most unrealistic part. It's like, come on, no way.
Well, they said Monica's is rent control because it was from her grandma, and then the other one though it doesn't make sense because Chandler couldn't keep a job and Joey was an actor.
No,
so.
Chandler actually kept his job the whole time. He was the only one that made sense and had money. Or him and Ross.
The dinosaur.
Joey. Yeah. Joey.
Out of work.
He was a starving actor.
Couple herpes commercials here or there. That's it. Like, that ain't gonna pay those bills.
No.
What do you watch? You watch TV?
I just watched 2 episodes of Friends on loop. Same 2 episodes. The lobster episode. No, I don't know.
Oh, dude. I was like, wait a minute. What? Also, you went to the lobster episode, which is Seinfeld, but that's okay. I'll give you that one.
No, you're my lobster. Honestly, I stopped watching Friends so long ago. I don't know.
It's my go-to when it's time to go to bed. Like, I either watch Friends or Seinfeld with my headphones on when I'm going to bed, because it's just like, I don't know about you guys, but I like listening. I don't know if it's from my childhood or whatever, but I need to have sound going on of some kind, like a TV show or something when I go to sleep.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can't do it. I'll just listen to it. White Reaper, that's another new band I'm into.
Love White Reaper. We had the keyboardist Ryan Hader on the show last month.
Yeah, they
love that fucking band.
Put on a good, fun, like let's go kind of show. I saw Slayer once. Festivals is a really good example of this. Like, you're there to win votes at a festival. Mm-hmm. At your own shows, it's going to be all your fans with an occasional, like, let me bring my friend who's never seen you before. At a festival, it's like 20% your fans, and then 80% of people are like, I've heard of Avenged Sevenfold, let me check them out. And that's your chance you got to fucking slay to make
That's all of our early career, dude. Like, we did Warped Tour for that reason. We were not a band that belonged on the Warped Tour bill at that time.
Yeah.
And we did that for a few years, and then we did Ozfest. And once again, we were in this neither world where we were wearing makeup and on TRL and shit, and we went over and did Ozfest, and we were the surprise band for that summer. And it was, again, to your point, it was like we knew what we've done it so many times over now. Like, even when Iron Maiden took us out in Europe, everyone hated us right away. but like we started to win over the Iron Maiden fans. You just go out there. It's kind of like, I mean, you're right. You're trying to win them over, but you're also like you're almost angry about it. So it made sense that like we were like doing like heavy rock, because like I remember on the Iron Maiden tour specifically, we went out there thinking we were fucking hot shit. Didn't realize we were cold diarrhea in their world. And we went out there and everybody had long hair still. I mean, this is in 2006, 2007. And everyone still looked like they came out of the fucking 80s in this crowd. Like, I mean, straight up. Leather jackets, denim shit with all the fucking patches on, long hair, everything. And we just like looked out and we got like shit thrown at us the first couple of dates. And then we all shaved our heads. Like, three out of the 5 of us shaved our heads and we're like, fuck that. We're not identifying with them. We're going to go out there and show what we fucking do, and they're going to come around. Yeah,
exactly. How about I just crush and you decide? You want to fucking see this greatness or you want to see it?
Yeah. I think you kind of have to have that. I mean, you guys got to have that mentality doing stand up. I mean, like how often you're in fucking rooms, no one's ever heard of you?
Where you're like, who are you? I'm here for the headline. Who the fuck are you? And like, sit tight, you'll find out. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't do it well, and they go, that guy sucked. And for that night, they were right. But we saw Slayer at Bonnaroo, and it was way too late. It was like, and they knew it. They were like, and he starts, he goes, and I don't know their music, but I've seen Ben Folds at Bonnaroo. Meander, did a lot of fucking banter, and everyone's like, dude, we've barely heard of you. This is not your concert. So Slayer comes up, they do 3 seconds of banter. They go, he goes, I know we're too old for this, but fuck it. And then 59.5 minutes of just shredding. And everybody was like surfing and like moshing. It was just great. It was great.
That's the way to do it.
You know, Jay brought me to Korn. It's not my kind of band, but they love what they were doing. So I was like into it.
But you appreciate that's like live music, right? I can go to any genre as long as they're putting on a good show. It transcends. A show's a show. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Live music, I'm in. Yeah. Live music, I'm in. It doesn't really matter, right? But if you put on a great, there's like, I'm trying to think of what bands do like an amazing like show like Muse, where they'll have like all these screens completely enveloping them in screens, and like, how are you not going to be appreciative of this? Or Roger Waters, even if you don't like him, you're like, you're going to get moved by it. It's a giant stage act.
All right. Next time Avenged comes around, you got to come out.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
Anytime where, you got the upcoming tour, the, what was it again? The Wrong Side of History. That's right. Wrong Side of History. That tour is going out. I'm going to go back out on tour in a few weeks here. I'm going to look at it and see if we're in the vicinity of each other.
Yeah. I'll come out.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. We have a couple of drinks and
I love checking out music on the road, especially if I have one early show. I'll be like, well, they're probably not going on until 9:30. I'm done at 9:30. I can at least catch it the last 45 minutes. You know?
I'm not letting you have my phone though. That shit ain't happening.
It's a fun one to do. You just find the first person of the opposite sex and then just go, sup, I've always thought you were cool and thought we should hang out. Just and it's quick because you have times of the essence. They're gonna find you on their phone. They're gonna, what the fuck? Get it sent.
You actually send to his wife. She goes, "This isn't you. This isn't how you talk to me."
You fuck up if it's like you send it to their actual girlfriend or wife. They'll be like, "Oh, that was nice." I'm like, damn it.
I have a question on that. Would you send and then delete the message on your end?
Yeah, that's smart. That's real smart.
Yeah.
So they'd be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Fusion.
Yeah.
That's solid. That's solid.
I love the confusion of a good prank. I pranked our guitar player on stage. We were writing a record and one of our producers put chipmunk voice in the sound booth on Matt while he was singing. And I thought it was the funniest fucking thing because like he hears it as he's just belting it out, doing great, and we're cracking up in the sound booth because it just sounds ridiculous. And I was like, can we do that live? And I asked our monitor guy at the time, I was like, can you put a chipmunk voice on Brian's vocal mic while he's singing?
Without him knowing?
Without him knowing? And he was like, yes, but he would still hear it. So basically which made it even greater to me, is he heard it, the crowd didn't know what was going on. So he thinks the whole crowd is hearing him in chipmunk voice. I'm cracking up next to him going like, you have no idea. He's freaking out. He's getting mad. Not really mad because he's my best friend, but he's also like, what the fuck? I can't sing right now. All I hear is this chipmunk fucking voice in my ears. And I know it's going out to everybody. So he's freaking out and mentioning it. And everybody in the stands hears him normal. And they're going like,
monitor.
Yeah, it was just to his monitors.
Hey, that's great. They're like, what, dude? Just sing. You're fine. So, okay, I got one for you. I got a good casual one for you.
Let's go.
Karaoke. Okay.
Yes.
Everyone's done it. You wait, and everybody works up the courage. Unless maybe you guys don't, but everybody else works up the courage. Let me get in the mood. I'll pick a song. Before your buddy goes up and picks a song, you're like, I'm ready. I got my song. Especially if you're like 8 or 9 back, you just put them in for something without them knowing. They're ready to sing Dolly Parton, and you just put them in for I'm a Barbie Girl. They have no idea. They get called, right? Because they went up 2 after you and like, all right, here's my song. They don't know what order it is. They just go like, please welcome Johnny. And you get up there and you're like, all right. You're ready to fucking sing Jolene. And then it's like, bam, 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 bam. And you're like, what? No. And then they see your friends laugh like, oh, you fucking dick. And if they're fucking cool about it, they'll sing that song.
Oh, absolutely. I'm thinking in my head, if someone pulled that on me, I'd be like, let's go. I'm going Barbie Girl now.
Oh, you got me. So we got to do it.
That would work. I only did karaoke like the first time I ever did it. I had never done it. I didn't know you could read a monitor. I didn't know anything. I just walked up. I did the Humpty dance because I'm a big Digital Underground fan. So I go up there, and in the middle of it, I lost myself, and I didn't know how to recover. And there's no words that you can hear to see where it is, and I didn't know I could look at something. So I just walked off the stage, and my cousin grabs the mic and just finishes. It's like, Sam's a punkty punk. And I was just like, and my wife's like, why are you such a whiny bitch right now? Because I was just like pouting, like, this is going to be my moment, guys. So, yeah. So
your moment on the karaoke stage.
For Humpty Dance in the middle of Kansas somewhere, visiting my cousins, yeah.
You've traveled through Europe, Ari. I heard you talking about it. Have you visited the Finnish karaoke bars?
No. Never been. I wanted to. They just never worked it out for a tour.
Anytime you get a chance to, like someone wants you out there, just fucking go. Finland is amazing, especially during the summertime. Like those karaoke bars, because the sun's up all the time in the summer. So you walk out of a karaoke bar thinking it's fucking like you just left a dive bar and it's like midnight or whatever, or like later. Like we leave at like 4:00 in the morning and it's bright as fuck out there. And you're just like, oh, like talk about the walk of shame after you spent all night in a fucking karaoke bar and just walk out. And it's fucking hilarious. It's so much fun.
Yeah, you guys have this great benefit of like comedy dies in the summer. Nobody wants to be indoors,
Really?
But yeah, it's just like it's for barbecues, it's for whatever. Unless it's like Phoenix, then people are like, yeah, I love air conditioning. Let's do that. But for most, it's like every agent is like, no, you can't go to Europe in the summer. Like that's when I want to go. Like you just can't. You make a quarter of what you're going to make.
That makes sense though.
Yeah.
You also you would have to compete with the festivals too. Like we were talking about festivals, like the European festivals over there.
And be in outside Helsinki for a day or two.
Well, they're good. We've been there in the winter too. And the winter is great for a different reason because you go in there. It's the only place is open. You're walking around and it's fucking freezing. So you go to like the first bar. Every bar is a karaoke bar there, I feel like. It's probably not accurate, but it feels like it. And you drink all day there, and then the next morning you wake up. And it's still dark. It's always dark, like during the winter. And you wake up and you're like, what the fuck am I going to do? And then you learn about the saunas there. And it's brilliant. This is why they're brilliant drinkers.
They drink at the sauna?
Yes. So what you do is you stay up all night, get fucked up, wake up super hungover, go to the sauna, do a hot and cold for on and off for like an hour. You start to feel better, and then you go to the bar that's attached to the sauna right after.
It's attached to the sauna? That's so cool.
They have food. They have everything. Like it's next level. It's like that is the hangover cure. Everyone talks about the IVs, everything like that. I'm like, fuck that. Go in the hottest fucking sauna, jump out into the snow to cool down, pop back in. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you go back and forth a couple of times, and then you sweat everything out. You have a little bit of water while you're in there, of course, because you don't want to fucking die. And then, you go grab a fucking lager afterward.
I mean, I love that about Reykjavik. It's like those like saunas and like stuff, but I guess that's on another level.
I don't know about Reykjavik.
They have those like local saunas in town. They have like the outdoor ones too, but like,
Yeah.
like 18 different baths at every temperature.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Those are cool too. I like those too.
Yeah. But damn, I love a sauna. The problem is trying to find a sauna and like, you're like, all right, I'm in, Portland for 3 days. Let me go to a sauna. And then you're like, you look it up on Google, like best male hangout in Portland 2000. Like, oh no.
Well, that goes back to your special that's coming out on that the album's actually coming out. It's not on YouTube anymore. It's coming out soon here. You touched upon the butt fuckers at the end there.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And Sodom and Gomorrah. I loved it. Speaking of that special real quick, just so everyone goes and checks it out. Everyone's got to go check it out.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I definitely love your take on religion because you came from an Orthodox house, and now are you agnostic or atheist?
I think at the beginning I was agnostic, then I was heavy atheist, and now I'm back to this, I don't know what I call it, maybe modern agnosticism, where I'm like, I just care,
Thank you.
Agnostic is like, you have to weigh in, like, I don't know what there is, but I'm like, oh, I'm the same way I am with politics. I'm like, I just don't give a shit, you guys. But like, you're independent, I'm like, I just nothing, I don't care.
Yeah, you don't want a label on it. You're just doing your thing. That's the other thing that like with religion and politics, everyone has to like label themselves and be a part of something. And it's like, no, dude, we're all just fucking here on this fucking one weird rock. We have no idea why we're here. We just showed up one time and we're going to be gone one time too, as a race, not just us. It's going to be done. So you just put one foot in front of the other and enjoy the time that you have as best you can.
That's pretty good. I like that a lot. And it's just like, you only want to be agnostic because everyone else is talking about it. But if everyone stopped talking about it, you wouldn't even think twice about it. It's like hockey. People are like, I'm like, I don't care unless if you live in Toronto, they make you weigh in. But like, if you don't, then it's like, guys, no one's talking about hockey. No one's talking about it.
That's such an American thing. Do you do a lot of stand up in Canada?
Love Canada.
Canada's great.
So you go to Europe and you do stand up too?
Yeah.
Do you have to change your approach and delivery over there?
Depends where. So like if you're doing it in Beijing, it's like, okay, these are expats all together. And it depends like but like I just did like Romania and Slovenia for the first time in Eastern Europe. I loved it. But there's very few expats. It's just people who speak English there. And then you're like, oh, you guys can't get offended. You just won't get it. You just got your freedom like 18 months ago, So it's like nothing I can say would compare offensive wise to your sister disappeared in the middle of the night. The line's been crossed. But it's just like a few things you got to update. Or it's like I was having this joke bomb for my last tour, all through the UK, and then Amsterdam, and I think wherever I went next was like, I mentioned Altoids, and somebody's like, we don't know what the fuck those are. And I'm like, what? No wonder this joke's not going over. And so you have to mince, where like, I've seen it in stores here. And like, you can say that all you want. We don't know what an Altoid is.
Interesting.
That is fucking funny.
Yeah. So little things, if you're talking about you realize as you're saying it, like, oh, you would never know what this is. But then I had jokes about it. I'm like, that's fair. Like, I'm sure if your comics came to my country, you'd be like, do you ever have your stroopwafel break before you're ready to talk your breakfast?
Yeah, that would definitely bomb. That would be like I don't know what the fuck. Or if they brought up their politics in that point too. I don't even pay attention to my own politics, let alone fucking in other countries.
Exactly. You realize no one even knows what a senator is, let alone the one you're talking about. So it's like, leave it out. Or I would do fun jokes about like, I do a joke about 9/11. I'm like, do you guys know what that is? And they'd laugh because they know what that is. But
that's
I'm like,
big enough.
What is 11/9? And then
because they do it. Yeah, some of the countries do it different. Yeah.
Yeah, little things you have to change up a little bit, but for the most part, blowjobs are blowjobs. Everybody's into them. It's universal.
See, that's another part on your special that's coming out here. Or it's already out on YouTube. I'll specify. Already out on YouTube, coming out. Audio
Congrats
version.
on 6 million, man. That's pretty fucking amazing.
Forgiven, Germany? We're not forgiven.
I loved your take on the Germans, by the way, because I felt the same way every time I go to Germany. You're at least 6'3". I'm a 5'6" white guy, and I'm like walking around there, and you're right. They're all giant and beautiful. Like it's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. You're just like looking every which way, and especially Berlin, where you're like everyone's sexualized there. Like, the fuck is everybody? It's so hot here. Everyone's so fucking hot.
Did you go to the Hofbrauhaus when you're in Germany?
Hofbrauhaus?
Yeah.
Yeah, once when me and my brother went to Oktoberfest.
Ah, that's good.
Yeah.
October. Tell me about October. I haven't done Oktoberfest. There was one day when Oktoberfest was going off, and I had a show that day, and it was literally in the town square at the hotel, directly downstairs. So I saw all of it happening, but I don't drink before a show, so I was really bumming hard.
Fair, but like, yeah, that's a sucky thing, especially with rock star stuff. It's like there's just like, this lore of like, you guys get fucked up, do whatever you want. But it's like, yeah, but that's true. Like, I paid the ticket money. I paid $40 for a ticket. Like, you can't be barfing and not doing your show. That shit's like,
Killed Creed, man.
What?
Killed Creed, like Scott Stapp. That's why he got in trouble. Or Smash Mouth, all the greats. But
I mean, you got to be able to put on your show, or fucked up after. Go 9 hours straight after your show is fine, but like, wake up at 6 p.m. is okay. Right. But yeah, they lose sight of it.
Yeah,
weed. Like, I get up. It's like, get high after you're off. You're a blubbering idiot up there. Fine.
Do you how do you approach a show? Do you get fucked up before, or do you approach it like you're saying?
No, I'm not touching mushrooms before a show. I have before, but it's like, fuck. One time at Blues Fest in Ottawa, I saw Maiden there. They put on a great. I mean, that guy, fucking 170 years old, running around the stage. It's like
all of them, man. They're throwing their guitars up in the air and everything. Like, that was so inspiring to watch them every night when we were on tour with them. It's so cool.
Yeah. But I was like, all right, I want to. It was actually before I saw Arcade Fire. They converted me later this evening, but like, had not seen him. Was like, heard, but I wanted to get out there. I went on at 7. We got till 11, and it's done. So the psychedelics, it's a 5-hour trip. Like, so I'm like, let me time it. I'm on first. Like, I'll eat them right before I go on, so they won't kick in until I'm off. But we started the show 10 minutes late. MC went 15 minutes long. It's in my act. I'm just like, oh fuck, here it is. Just like lifeline on your material, try to get through it. It's just not good for performance,
It doesn't feel good though, too. That's the other thing. It's like a lot of people joke about it and stuff. Like, at the end of the day, I've done it before. I've gotten fucked up. I learned my lesson, right?
Exactly. If you've never done it, you can't talk. You have,
Yeah, I've done it, and it didn't feel good. I've done it several times, and I'm a slow learner.
Yeah. Like, then you're like, I can't do that anymore. And then like 5 months later, you're like, well, I can probably do it today. I'll take the edge off,
Yeah.
Any more than that, I'll slur. I can't slur in my job.
Dude, I feel it. I definitely feel you on that, because like now I'm stepping into this side of like podcasting and stuff. We just did an episode last week where I went and golfed like right before. And of course, golf for me is drinking. That's what golf is. And yeah. I came on and I was talking to Sam, and like by the end of it, I barely remembered the end of the episode, to be honest. And I was like, yeah, that's not going to be a good look.
Yeah.
It was a 2.5 hour conversation cut down to an hour is what it turned into.
To get fucked up on purpose, like, and that's the jam. That's fun.
Right.
But it's not. Doug Betts used to do that show, Getting Doug with High.
Yeah.
People being quiet. People just being silent for 40 minutes.
Dude, that was a fun one. We had Doug on the show, and we talked about when he had Jack Black on the show, and Jack hadn't smoked pot.
Got him too high.
That was amazing. That was like, good at the time too. I totally vibed with Jack on it too, because I wasn't smoking at the time. I was like, yeah, that's how, like, all through my 20s. I've said this many times on the podcast. All through my 20s, I couldn't smoke pot. All through my teenage years, I would wake and bake before I went to school all the fucking time. 20s, it just did not register with me. And then in my 30s, it came back, and I'm so glad it came back.
That's great. Good story.
Yeah.
So do drugs, kids.
Hey, if you're gonna do a drug,
You're gonna find
fucking weed.
Your drug career. Get over those hurdles and keep it going.
Just keep trying. If you don't succeed,
get some heroin. Get back that horse.
Hey, I'm one of the minds that believes in drug use for a lot of good things in our brains. Like I understand people with issues and struggles and stuff. I'm not diminishing that. I totally understand that. On the other side of the coin, though, I do know some of the things that I've done have put a positive perspective on my life.
Like, what do you mean?
Like with drugs. Like most recently, I did a backpacking trip in Mammoth, and it was legit. Like we hiked 40 miles. We were smoking weed and doing shrooms. I came back from that without being tethered to my phone with a whole new perspective on the rat race that we're living in. And it was just like, and I went out and I fucking tripped for 5 days. It was fucking amazing. Wow. And when I came back to this reality, quote unquote, like it just put a whole new perspective on what's actually important. I used to go around my house when like things aren't working as a homeowner, like, like things happen around your house that you're trying to fix and you just don't understand why they're not working and you get angry about it. And I would fucking throw a fit, a little tantrum. I was a little fucking baby about it, right? And I'd be like, why the fuck isn't this working? And I'd be angry. And I come back from that, I no longer get angry about it. Or I get frustrated and I stop myself and realize, what the fuck am I doing? This is like not a big deal.
Somebody told me once, break everything down in life into things that matter if you were on mushrooms and things that would not matter if you're on mushrooms. You lose a 20, it was in your pocket, it's gone. Like, motherfucker. And it's like, if you're on mushrooms and you lose a 20, you're like, whatever, dude, this doesn't matter. This is not one of those things that, listen, your mom dies, that's going to matter when you're on mushrooms.
Right.
Something real.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's dude, I was like, Glastonbury Festival. You ever do that one?
We didn't do Glastonbury, no.
It rules. It's but it's camping, having a good time, and one of my buddies in my camp never taken mushrooms before. So I was in Wales before. I got mushrooms for the group. Got 2 pounds of boomers for everybody. They all brought coke from London, and then Molly just fine there. But 2 pounds, spreading it out. This guy, I've never done it before. I had to properly dose everybody, make sure they got the right amounts and whatever. This guy fucking loved it. Never done it before. Did it 4 straight days. Just kept upping his dose. He was just loving it. People were finding him, but like, you look like you want mushrooms. I go, sure. And they sell him. He just keep going. He was great. His phone died midway through the first day, and he didn't have a place to plug it in. He didn't feel like doing it. Eventually, he's lost his shoes. He was just connected to the ground. It's a fucking cliche. This guy Angus. And Monday morning, we wake up, pack up the tent, and he's like, all right, let me plug my phone back in. He was supposed to go to work back that day in London, but wasn't going to make it. We got a late start. And he texted his boss saying, I'm not going to make it. And she's like, well, this is less than ideal. And it's just like, he was having a blast. He wanted the festival to keep going, but it's not gonna, And then all of a sudden, all the texts and the emails started coming through. And he just looked at his phone. He just saw this thing as this fucking, this bearer of bad news. And he's like, I was having such a blast for 4 days, and now this thing is, and he just goes, fuck this thing. And he just chucked it as far as he could and just ran out to go get it. But it's like, yeah, get the fuck off.
Dude, it's unbelievable. Like when you go away from it for a little while, like it's so eye-opening.
Yeah. That's why the saunas are great too. You got to be off it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, in all seriousness, though, if you've been through that a little bit and you've gotten a taste of it, I also came back from it going like, I don't need my phone at all the fucking time. Like I was talking to a couple of guys on the show here, and they're like, yeah, it's good to disconnect every once in a while, like because I get back into it. You get back into the rat race. It comes right back.
They're actually
and you wake up
trying to get you hooked on it.
Yeah, exactly.
They're trying to get you in every moment. It's like it's
and
fun.
and I totally, and what's funny is I totally respect the game. I'm not a hater on it. I totally understand. But for me, it's like sometimes when I start realizing that I wake up, reach over, and the first thing I do before I even take a piss is check my phone.
First, yeah, we all do it. It's nuts.
I'm like, wait a minute, this is not. I grew up. We have the ability of younger kids are going to have a bigger struggle with this, I think, because at least I came from an era where there was a landline and two brothers and everything. Like you fought for your time on the computer or on the phone.
The phone, get on! I'm on the phone.
You're on the phone with your girlfriend and like comes in and starts fucking with you like from the other room.
Phone, get off the phone. I'm like, I'm talking. Like it's been 3 hours. You can talk at school tomorrow. Like one person could use it.
Yeah, it's just interesting to me though when you think about it. And that's how we're talking about shrooms here. The psilocybin now that it's a little bit more known, like it's so beneficial for a lot of people.
Exact dose, exact right amount. It's like, yeah. And for anxiety and depression and all that shit, it's just like, I mean, I've had my biggest breakthroughs on all that where it's like, life's okay. You just get to this place where like, everything's pretty good. I'm sure you guys must get it too. Like fucking trying to keep up with whatever. And then you're like, I'm in a known band for like going on 20 years. I'm at the highest level of success. And to be like upset is almost like irresponsible, but it gets you like that, you know?
Oh, it totally does.
Clearly.
Dude, it's insane because I'm so glad you brought that up. Not a lot of people bring that up, but like, yeah, it's like no matter where you are in life or whatever this construct is, like even as successful, you're not allowed to talk about you being sad or like anything. And it's like, wait a minute, I understand that I have it good. I'm not, I am very humble in that, or I try to be in any ways, and I don't try to take anything for granted.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like we've said in this podcast a couple of times, I'm still a fucking human being, man. I grew up, I didn't just walk into this. I was, this was something that worked for.
Music.
What's that again?
Not a rock star. You're a guy. You're a dude who plays music.
I even hate the term rock star.
It's like a term movie star. It's like, no, you're an actor. Don't. Yeah, rock star is like, come on. But I'm sure it's like, it must be weird. People put you on that thing.
They always do. Like even like some friends, like in the outside circles, like, oh, Johnny's a rock star. I'm like, I'm not a fucking rock star. I'm me.
I'm eating a burger. I'm getting the same enjoyment out of this as you are. There's no.
That was a question for you, Ari. Like, so I kind of brought this up with Jay, but a lot of you guys who have kind of like rougher comedy and you take digs at people who don't know you probably, I mean, you see it in the comments. People feel like, hey, if you can talk shit, then I can freely talk shit back to you. Do you feel like your comedy encourages that, not purposely, and you're getting shit? Or is it like, do you ever get hit or like, shut the fuck up, guys?
Yeah, I can see they're trying to like bust balls, but it's like, you don't actually know me. It doesn't work, but I get what they're doing. So it's okay. But I'll have like, my nephew will see it, like, this being so mean to you. I'm like, oh, that's not real. That's okay. Half of them are joking in a friendly way. You just can't see it. And the other half are just like retards trying to like fill in a hole in their heart. It's like, it's fine. Or it's like, yeah, they're trolling. They've got here or there, they get you. You ever like be arguing with someone in a comment section and then somewhere you're like, oh, you're trolling. You don't believe any of this. And you're like, you got me for a little bit. But
yeah. I try not to do that in the comments. When I first got to social media about like 5 years ago, I was late to the party, but I got there like 5 years ago. And at first I would like clap back a little bit. And I was like, what am I doing? Like, what the fuck is this?
Who are you arguing with?
Yeah, it's insane. We'll get back to your special one more time. And then I know you got a busy night over there in New York. But I wanted to ask you a little bit more educational on the special, the Jew, or it's not even it's just Jew, right?
Yeah.
So solid, by the way.
This is what it is.
Yeah, it says it all right there. Like,
listening, it's gonna be up on audio now and Spotify and all that shit. But like, it's just a comedy special. This theme, don't let that talk you out of it. You're just gonna really laugh. That's the. Yeah.
Oh, I was laughing the whole time, and real quick. On a production level, Whose job is it to light all those candles?
We had there was a few altar boys who were like in between rapes. And so why don't we hire you for a little bit, because it costs a lot of money to reseal an asshole. So we had them come in and just kind of like slowly light each one and then go back to the
priest. They had experience. They had experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Good God, I love it. No, but for real on those, was that your idea or was that a stage guy or?
Is my director Eric Abrams? He was like, he knew the material I was doing, and he was like, I don't know about stage design, but like something with candles would like be evocative of like religion in general, because it was also supposed to be not just about Judaism, but like kind of all religion. But then like if you do this, but it's supposed to speak to all of it, And so if we're doing a religious thing, candles do a good job of that. And then the set design, she's never done anything before, but she came up with this plan, these boxes that they use in like Jerusalem sometimes, and like these little towers of candles, and she ran with it and we let her. And like, I mean, I don't know if you guys ever heard of the Fountainhead, but like just in general, you let an artist go and you'll get the best out of them.
Mm-hmm.
You let somebody just take the reins and be like, here's the guidelines, and I trust you, just do whatever you want to do. And it'll be maybe not exactly what you wanted, but it'll be the best they can do if you don't try to like hit him with too many, rules. The match has no cursing to you, and you're like, okay, but like I generally don't curse in my songs, but like now I'm thinking about that, like what?
Oh, I fucking hate that when someone says that shit, because we've been on festivals where you go on festivals, and for whatever reason, maybe you're in the Bible Belt, maybe you're somewhere, and they're like, no cursing. If it's in your song, fine, but in between songs, and we're like, but we fucking curse like sailors all the time. This is part of my vernacular.
Yeah, it's like, then hire somebody else. Like, you shouldn't be doing this. You should find a guy who does. Nate Bargatze's great. There's plenty of guys who won't. Go get John Denver. He'll put on a show for you.
A little too late for him.
Yeah. We just told her, I was like, go for it. And she just stepped up and did a great job. And then like, we were going to have to use like LED candles and stuff, which is not quite as good, but then we're going to use this like haze machine. And the venue was like, well, if you use a haze machine, we got to turn off the fire, whatever, the smoke alarms, because it'll set them off. Yeah. And if you smoke alarms, that's not fire. So we got to hire the fire marshal to be here. So it's an extra cost. And I was like, okay. But then I was like, wait, if the fire marshal's here, can we just use real candles? And she goes, yeah, I don't care. And me and Lauren, the set designer, we were just lit up. We're like, oh, that's going to look so much better.
It did look, it looks awesome.
And it seems so simple, but I'm so stoked to hear you, because watching it, I was thinking they're LED, and then the tight shots, you can see it. And then I was like, how do they get around the fire marshal and stuff like that? So I didn't even realize. So thanks for answering that.
I wasn't even...
You'd be like, calm down. The exits are this way and this way.
I'm familiar with the fire marshal part of it, because we did smoke and stuff like that for years. But what I was impressed with is not a single one of those went out. Right?
So she tested all the candles, the big ones and the small ones. We replaced some of the small ones, those little like incense burner ones, we had those too. And we had these giant ones also, but she tested the big ones, and they were 80 hours. She said, great, we're fine. Then she put them in the night before, and with the AC, they went down to 5-hour ones. They were just blowing on them. We're like, fuck. She had to source like 6,000 candles overnight on a Friday night, so we'd have enough. Yeah, we some of them out in between shows. But yeah, I could hear behind me here or there. You were just like, when the candle burns and all the wax just like hits a level, goes, and just you could hear just, and I'm like, oh, whatever, it's going off.
Did it bother you at all, or you're like in the?
Yeah. How many times did you do it?
4. But I mean, years on the road trying to tighten it.
No, I always just curious about those. Of how much do you use? Because I feel like you probably have one show that you use the bulk of, or do you? Yeah,
you'll have an A set. So usually we used to do like 2 shows when like a network was paying for it. They'd have an early show and a late show. That's how you record. But do 4. It's just mentally easier. I mean, you guys must be the same way. It's not as easy to judge. Like, we can just go on laughs. You can hear if you're doing well or not. But you guys know when you have a good show, when you have an okay show, when you have a bad show. The set list might be the same, but when you're just crushing. I don't know what it is for music. You get a vibe. I don't know what it is for comedy. So you want to have that show where you're fucking crushing, they're feeling you. Then you can read it on your face. You know, that guy's crushing. You can't add in any laughs. That guy's crushing. He feels it. And that's your A set. And then for angles, you take in a joke here or there that might have worked better in another night.
That makes perfect sense, actually. And when you, I'll fill you in on the musician side, it is when the crowd's just vibing too, you know. And funny enough, when you got 5 different dudes,
yeah,
we have different perspectives of every night. Like we'll come off and like my singer will be like, "Man, that was a great crowd." I'm like, "Really? I didn't feel it like that."
That's cool. That'll be on comedy shows too. Someone's like, "I love that crowd." And like the guy before me and after, like, "They fucking sucked." What? And they're like, "I got them. I don't know."
Yeah, it is kind of funny though to like have the same. You have the same setup. You have everything. You're on the stage at the same time playing the same songs, and one guy has a different perspective. And it's not always. Each of us, we laugh about it. We're like, well, I just felt like I had a great show, and someone else is like, oh, it was all off tonight, and I'm like, what?
Dude, I was in Paris. I was taking a writing class last summer, and you know those like along the river, there's all those little like stalls to buy books and stuff. So I just like, let me see something I can like. I found a Dixie's Midnight Runners album with "Come On Eileen," and I was like, all right. I was like, I saw them. And we're like, what? He goes, yeah, I saw them live in like 1987. I was like, really? That's cool. I was like, how were they? He goes, not so great. And I'm like, really? Why not? He goes, the crowd gave them nothing. And a lot of bands feed off a crowd, and French audiences just do not give. And they got people up there having a jam, and everyone's just watching. And he goes, we just gave them nothing to feed off.
It's so interesting, the European crowds. It's taken us a long time. The first few times we were over in Europe, it was that experience.
Really?
But like, I mean, in the last 15 years, it's been great. But like, it took us a solid 5 to 10 years to get them to come around. Like,
wow.
It was something like we were talking about the festivals. You had to, even though it was your show, we felt like we had to win them over.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, come on, motherfuckers. What are you here for? You trying to have a good time or not?
And I'm gonna have a good time regardless. By the way, this is what I'm here for. This is my purpose. Like whatever it is that we're doing on this walk of fucking life, that's my purpose. That's where I feel the most free, the most me. You know, whatever it is on that stage. And I was away from it. I don't know if you know, but Ari, but I was away from it for almost 6 years. And
the band split up, or you just dropped out?
No. Our singer had vocal issues at the end of 2018 and then COVID on top of it. So it took us out for an extent. I like to make the joke that we were we were the trendsetters of getting off the road before COVID.
That's funny. Oh, but man.
Yeah, it was, and then we just got back to it. It was so surreal to come back to it in a different perspective, but like still feel the same way of like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
I just noticed him as a friend. He's just happier. Like during all that time, like not that he wasn't happy before, but when you do it, he was like a new side of him that I hadn't seen in years. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I talked to this visual artist, and she said that every time she gets depressed, she realized she just hasn't been painting. Mm-hmm. Got to get to painting, and then take painting and replace it with, you know, shredding or fucking making jokes, or you know, or hitting a ramp or whatever it is that you do. You know,
it's your purpose, right? It comes down to everyone has to find what they're going to do here. Like we're all here again. Like we keep going around this, and I feel like it's a good conversation for that because we're talking about philosophy and religion a little bit here, right? Like,
yeah. I mean,
that's your whole stand-up. Jew is like the whole thing, and I was so enamored by it because I don't know. I want to ask the question: how much of that was your actual childhood? Like, did you feed off of that? Like, is that where you came up with these stories?
Yeah, it was all my childhood, but I had to go back and do research to go, what is a false memory and what is just my experience, and what is like I remember one time I was on an airplane as a kid, and I was picking my nose. And my dad was like, don't do that. And then, but the way he told me not to do it, he goes, people will be jealous if you know, you don't have enough to go around.
Oh my God, that's awesome. Brilliant.
Yeah, he was just trying to get me and I was like, oh, okay. And so then I just picked my nose and went to the guy next to me. He's like, do you want some? And my dad's like, oh, fuck, no, come on. sorry, no. Yeah, nice, and but so if he hadn't corrected me in that moment, I would just honestly still believe that it's about sharing and not about that it's disgusting. Maybe not that, but you know what I'm trying to say.
No,
so
totally.
Could have been just my experience in that moment. And so I'd have to go back and say, like, what was just me and my family's weirdness, or what is like the standard for everybody? Is
the sheet thing really a thing?
It's not really a thing, and I'm legitimately found out that it's not a thing through doing this.
No. But like, it legit was like a myth thing that was talked about. I had never heard that before. I was like, which led to a perfect bit. My
friend came to see me. I'm one of my last like religious friends, and I was like, anything you saw that was incorrect, you gotta let me know. And he goes, no, it was all right except the sheet. And I'm like, no, that's real. He goes, no, it's not. I'm like, dude, David, it's 100% real. Not everybody does it, but it's not. He goes, it's not, Ari. It's a common myth. And I'm like, no. And I had to look it up. And it was one of those where you don't want to believe what you find out. So I kept researching. I'm like, I know this is right. I kept trying to find something that supports it. And I was like, fuck. That's how, as I said, that's how strong a myth it was, is that I just found out I was wrong. So yeah, back and find out what was just my childhood, what was everybody. And then also like my childhood is a way to like relate to everybody. Like this is personal, but also, like what I get for Hanukkah presents. Like presents are a Hanukkah thing, but my specific version is that,
the chicken thing too was another one where I'd heard that before. I knew about that, but to hear someone's personal perspective of it, like how you named it, I was like, oh man, this is great. And then to find out later, which I didn't know, is that bread does the same thing as the chicken.
Oh my God, that was so fucking funny.
Yeah. So it was actually pretty fun to like go back and research all this, but it was like, I've never done stand-up like this because I'll do it like personal things or like my feelings about something now. But for this, it was like, it was a 5-year process of living with a ghost. Of like, that guy's dead. That guy died a long time ago. And I got to go back and examine his feelings and his like what he was, but he's not around anymore and hasn't been around for 20 years. And man, it was kind of a lonely tour that way.
Was it therapeutic or just lonely or?
Kind of therapeutic, but also extremely lonely. Because it was like, it's not relating to anything current. It's relating to a time gone and to a person gone. It wasn't like I went on to be a rabbi and now I'm like talking about my beginnings. It's a place. It went nowhere. I mean, there's part of me that's like, I'll always, without even thinking about it, if some lady's behind me, I'll hold the door open. I don't know where that comes from. It comes from that. It comes from a nice religious background. But it's not doing a good deed. I'm just like, this is what you do when you're raised. Like. So like little parts of me, it's in me, but like, yeah, the rest is just like gonzo. And it was kind of fun to remember it and to see it with like a fresh, like light, There was a part of it that I left out because I was like, it's taking too long, but it was like the idea that like re-examining stuff that you took for granted, but you haven't thought about in forever. Like somebody just told me like the Doobie Brothers, that's about weed. And I was like, what? And it was like, yeah, Doobie. And I was like, because when I first heard it, it was pre-weed in my life. I thought it was like doobie doobie doo, I didn't realize it was like, oh right. But so now I'm examining. It was like, wow, it just opens up. Like, of course, and like all these things. So I was like, now that you look back, it's like now I'm an adult. I now know my parents knew when I was lying, always, because kids lie and they're bad at it. But we all thought we were so fucking badass. Like, yeah, I brush my teeth. Like, your toothbrush is dry. Like, I don't know. Maybe somebody broke in.
So I love that. I love that though, because it's like the same thing of the ham getting in the soup. Like someone broke in and just fucking dried up my fucking toothpaste.
The
ham bit was so fucking good. I was watching that. I was like, oh my God. Like,
which I didn't know. That's another one that I didn't know the little nuances.
I didn't know the 160th. I didn't know the 160th thing.
Are you Jewish?
No.
Okay, yeah, that's a deep cut. That I would say is the Jews' version of not yelling fire in a crowded theater. it's a law that every American kind of knows, you know, but no one's ever seen it in play, you know.
Yeah.
But like that 160th thing, you just asked the audience, like, do you guys know that number? And it was all like, yep. It was just the child just
They
came back.
all knew that.
And it was like, we've never had to deal with it ever in our lives. But still, it was one of those things that stuck.
So has your nephew heard it? Are you even further the coolest uncle because you brought him up in it?
Oh yeah, dude. Already it was that. But it's funny though, the communities, like my sisters are still deep in, my parents are still deep in, and I've talked to some of them. My sister was like, hey, when this was, I mean, she's a New Jersey, like Orthodox Jewish community, and then my parents' friends too, they both told me the same thing. We heard this was coming out, we were worried. Like, you're an ex-member, so to speak, like telling secret. Whenever you hear somebody on Scientology, like, let me tell you, it's never like, it was an awesome time, let me explain. It's always like, you don't know what they did to us, you know?
Right.
So they were like worried, and then they saw it and they were all like, oh, this is like reverential. This is actually quite pleasant and like worshipful of the time, which I've worked all that hatred out, you know? So then it's just like, here's a fun thing we did once. You know, I know this is weird, but like, that's it. And when I would do these bits about like women and their wigs, if there was like an Orthodox Jewish woman in the audience over the years, I'd keep my eye on them, just see how they react specifically. If you do a black joke, you see two black people, and keep your eye on them, make sure they're having a good time. Then it's not like racist, you know, it's good natured. If they're like, what the fuck, over and over, they're like, hey, I might have to tweak the language. These Jewish women were like, no one's speaking about my experience, and this guy's doing it, and they were like loving it. So I was like, I thought I crossed my T's and dotted my I's, but I wasn't sure until it came out. And they were all like, we love, they were like, few too many cuss words, but
it's still your words, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Dude, I love it. Again, I'm glad you brought up the wig thing. I had no idea. I've got Jewish friends. I had no idea. Funny enough, I have a Jewish friend. We both do. Was the officiant at my wedding. He grew up his entire life, didn't realize it was Jewish, like until he was
good at math.
Out of high school. Yeah, he was pretty good at math. He's actually my accountant. So yeah.
True.
Yeah, he deals with my financials, but he was also the officiant at my wedding. And like years ago, we went to a bar, and there was a Palestinian dude, and we looked at him and he was like, "You Jew, because of your nose, like you Jew." And like he was like super offended by it. And I was at the bar with him, and I was like, dude, I don't know why you don't know this already. Like not because your nose or anything like that, but because like I've seen your family. We're close friends. I've had dinner with your family, like. By heritage, maybe not by religion, but by heritage, you're Jewish.
Oh, he didn't know?
He had no idea because his father had switched over to Christianity.
Oh, that's funny.
So yeah,
I didn't know that about Dan.
Oh yeah, he didn't know. And then once he found out, he went and did what's it called in Jerusalem, in Israel.
He did his rite of passage.
Rite of passage or whatever it's called.
And he ended up staying there for
birthright. It's called birthright.
Sorry.
So you have to show your lineage to get the birthright thing, and he lived there for like 2 years.
Wait, really? He took to it. Yeah.
And he brought a lady back with him as well.
Really?
Yeah. It was interesting.
A success story.
He had fun. I mean, again, I just want to say I loved the special. It was fantastic. I learned so much from it. I don't think I would ever shake a chicken around my 6-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Or choke a chicken. Well, I probably wouldn't do that in front of him either.
Chicken. So maybe it's a combination of those two things.
But honestly, I've had so much fun with you, Ari. I know you got a lot of other stuff going on right now, so I'm going to let you go.
I'm still got to mention, guys. My guy was like, "Hey, we have this off for a podcast." My guy, who is it? It's like Avenged Sevenfold. I'm like, dude, I've been using them to mock my friend for so long. 100%, I will make the time.
I love it because when they came out and they said Ari, I was like, really? You this sounds fantastic. Please. So, dude, I am so stoked. Yeah.
Thank you. And I'm glad I was able to be in some small part, a part of your shaming Jay. With a shit sock.
And I'm glad we know about it now. We had no idea, so that is even better.
You guys gotta see it. Or put a fucking piece of shit on a sock and some deep liner note.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, by the way, I got to check out some other shit that I got to see that. I got to see it. It's so good, so good. Well, again, man, thank you so much for the time. I hope we stay in touch afterward, and I'll check your dates. Everyone go check out the dates for The Wrong Side of History, and the album coming out. Jew is amazing. It's hilarious. It's education. Go into it knowing, after watching this episode, what a great guy Ari is. It's comedy, people. Enjoy it. Like, it's so good.
You guys coming to New York at all?
We did New York in June. We did Madison Square Garden, so we probably won't be going back. I think the closest we might be is, I have to look, actually. I'm so bad at that. I don't know about you. Do you know, like, everywhere you're going to go before you go?
I mean, not off. Sometimes I'm like, I don't remember.
Yeah. I don't.
Sometimes we do like 4 days in a place, so we have less dates to remember.
Yeah, dude. Even the dates, like, it just doesn't matter. Once I'm out on the road, I'm like, I don't even know what day it is or where I'm at. I'm just like, let's go.
Name Tucson. You're in Philadelphia, you motherfucker.
the old one. Well, luckily I don't get on the mic because that would be bad.
The guy from the Strokes.
So good. I love the Strokes, by the way. But hey, again, cheers to the Lakers and Kobe Bryant.
Fuck off. Delete this episode.
Oh, wait. I need to ask you about the salvia episode.
Oh, yeah.
I got to ask about that because I that's one drug I haven't tried yet. I've done DMT, done like a bunch of other shit, but salvia, I don't know what that high is like and why you went to an aquatic trip.
It's I'll tell you how. It's a weird drug. It got popular for a minute in LA, I guess around the world a little bit. It was legal. It's like
Miley did it, right? That's the big thing that went all over. Miley Cyrus, I remember she was all about it.
Interesting. This was before that. I think she was still a kid then.
Yeah, you were OG. You were OG going to the aquarium.
But you just take a big hit. It kind of makes you like whatever. And you're supposed to hold it as long as you can. So I took a big hit out of a bong. It's a dirty drug. It's a dirty drug. But like,
does it feel dirty, like in your lungs, like swag?
Fucking dirt. I just feel dirty. It's like I talked about Coke a lot just because I did it a few days ago, but I don't do it a lot. But like, it's also a dirty drug. Afterwards, you're like, ugh. Mushroom clean drug. It might be worn out, but it's a clean drug. Weed's a drug. Molly's a clean drug. But I took a big hit, and my friends were like, "Fuck you! You didn't take a big enough hit." But it was already a big hit. And I was like on the border, like a fighting reality. Fighting to stay on it. And then they go, take a real hit this time. So I already have a head start to right on the line. And then I took a monster hit and held it in. And it was just, I was gone. I was 100% gone. I was just not of this world anymore. The thing lasts 10, 15 minutes, but I was just out of it. And I mean, it's like I had another life. I lived another life. For a while, I think it was an underwater, kind of like Atlantis, just like a bunch of like fish human hybrids. Just I had a girlfriend, I had friends, we had poker nights. It was just like, it was a long time, and I was in this lake. I think it was the lake behind my childhood home. It was like butted up against someone else's property, and they let us use it, or pond, not a giant lake, and I was just in there for, I'd say between 6 months and like 4 years. Like, it's tough to know.
Well, yeah, you're playing poker nights and have a girlfriend and stuff. Like,
yeah, it was a full life. That wasn't. Insane. I mean, I was living underwater, and then one day I was doing, going on a hike or whatever, going on a fish hike, and I saw some like thing at the bank. It was a human, like out of the water, like looking down, and I looked up, and it was Sam Tripoli, this comedian who I had done, salvia with 12 minutes ago, but this was like a few years already. And I was like, who the fuck is that? What's this guy? And then suddenly it was like, not fully back, but just like start halfway back. And my friends are like, they think I'm just fine. They're like, you're fine, drink water. And I like, what the fuck? I felt like ET. Everyone's just holding me and like, give me water. And like, as I'm drinking, I'm like, you don't drink this, you breathe it. So I just like start spitting it up. Like, what the fuck? I can't. How do you breathe air? And it was like trying to come back. It looked really shitty, but that was only 4 minutes of this, few year journey.
I'm glad you brought up it being like it looks shitty, but like what I'm hearing from your experience is a very like-minded to like a DMT or 5-MeO trip where you go to a place where it's completely different and everything is, you see how one everything is on the way in, and then you break the seal. And I haven't had the experience you've had on a drug yet, but I can imagine, because I've seen that where it's like, what if you just went off and lived an entire fucking life like that? It's kind of the dream. I look at your trip as fucking really cool and spiritual.
Rule. And if I had taken the regular size hit at first, I wouldn't have gone. I would just had like fallen down, it fucking ruled. I'm just gonna feel like I haven't done it since then.
Yeah, you don't want to.
But you've already done the best. Don't push your luck.
Like, I still have some like ready to go, and I'm like, it's been like 2 years now since I've done it. But like, it was. I'm envious of the fact that I can picture what's going on in your brain a little bit of how real that must have felt. Like you just described, you were on a hike. Like you weren't just like on a proverbial hike. You believed it was reality.
Memorial Day weekend. Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, it was like Memorial Day weekend. Like, let me do something this weekend. I got Monday off, so let me go on a fucking fish hike. I mean, it's like I was there. That was full. And then
that's so cool.
And you wake up out of a dream, you're like, wait, what? Like it takes a second, because you're having such a vivid dream, and it's like, no. Oh, right. And then like slowly it comes back, or after a mushroom trip, it slowly comes back, and then it starts flooding in the reality.
The pixels and the pieces start coming back together.
The DMT once, I did not get there, but people have that experience too. Like I was in another spot.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. The DMT thing though is everyone goes to the same spot. Have you heard that?
Isn't it weird?
It's fucking weird. That's the only drug I've ever heard of that everyone goes to the same spot on.
Yeah.
And this has been Drugs with Johnny.
Hey, this is all interesting shit. We're all getting introspective here. And by the way, part of what you were saying earlier, I was listening to you talk about going back and kind of reliving your childhood through this stand-up and creating it. That just, I could relate to it so much because it's just so retrospective. Like at a certain point in our lives, after maybe it's partly hallucinogens, whatever it is, but you get to a point where you start like, or an age maybe, where you start to look back at things and like try to relive them a little bit and say, like, what was that? And if you're honest, you start to try and like, if you're vulnerable to your own memories, you start to put a different perspective on it. And I think that's another thing that I really gravitated towards on your stand-up.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, like just look at this honestly. Just look at it without any like ego attached to your upbringing. And like, oh, that was crazy. Like you see yourself like at 15 reacting badly to a breakup. Or like, oh, that was just some kid with his heart. He'd never had his heart broken. So he's like,
but at the time it felt like the end of the world.
Decades ago. So it's fine. At the time, it's the end of the world. So now you see it now and you're like, you'll be fine. Like you just have to have some time. But like, yeah, you get it now. You forgive those kids now.
Yeah.
Like you're just going through it.
Dude, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's really what it is therapeutic because you're forgiving yourself on it too, and like a little bit.
Yeah. Like, oh, I was just this. Or a girl cheated on you. It's like, she just fell out of love. What do you want her to do?
You were teenagers. Like, what the fuck?
Love. Like, you've never fallen out of love. Like, there's no right way to do it.
No. And it just doesn't matter. Like, all those things that it's those times when you're laying in bed late at night and those regrets, quote unquote, come up. And I used to think of them as regrets. And now I think of them as like learning curves in a way. It's like, oh, okay, I did misstep there. How do I make tomorrow better?
Yeah, exactly. It's the best. Like you said some earlier where you're like, I've gotten too fucked up before you play. Where you're like, and I've done stuff too where it's like, you shouldn't do that. I know because I've done it and it was wrong and I can see it now. So that's how I know not to do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You can only take somebody's word for it about finger in the socket, but gotta like get electrocuted.
I gotta find out what that shit's about.
Oh, I see what they're saying now.
Oh man, it's been an incredible conversation with Ari Shaffir today. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank Ari for so much for being part of this.
Thank your mover for putting up with this shit.
I gotta pay. I'll see you guys.
We'll see you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ari.
Thank you so much, man.